Hi, my name is Imelda Binti Abdul Rahim. I'm going to brief on the introductions of the space challenges and Columbia tragedies. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, is a unique organization in terms of size, missions, constraints, and motivation. Even as one of the smallest of the major federal agencies, NASA is a large organization that directly employs 18,000 people and has an operating budget of approximately US 15 billions. NASA missions is unique as a leader in all areas of spaceflight and space science. NASA's main endeavor of human spaceflight enjoys no flexibility in terms of rates. Complicating things further, the motivations for NASA missions has varied from the very specific in the past, winning the US-Soviet space race during the 1960s, to the very abstract today, technology transfers, advancements of scientific knowledge and space development. The tragic occurrences that affected the Challenger on 28 January 1986 are often deemed as a result of serious flaws in the organizational process and structure that control the missions. The breakup of the Space Shuttle's Columbia during entry into the Earth's atmosphere was a reaffirmation that something was missing and a reminder to all of how perceived harmless and small details plays a very significant role in the delicate system. The organization has evolved over its years of existence, and detailed analysis and revisions of organizational processes are needed in order for it to survive and thrive amidst of all the challenges that come with the missions. If NASA is to seriously eliminate chances of failure and advance its mission, then a serious revision of rules and procedures has to be undertaken. The major question is, what would have NASA done in order to mitigate any chances of an error occurring that will lead to the tragedies? Many scholars and scientists have come up with the theories to answer this fundamental question. One of the solutions was the hierarchy structure within NASA is flattened so as to enable faster response time in the dealing of issues both core and non-core to the organization. Managers were afraid of making decisions that would be detrimental to their job's position, and hence there need to be a new structure where bureaucracy could be bypassed. There was also a need for closer collaboration between contractors and NASA officials, and the interface between them should be reached in order for better understanding so as to avoid cases such as the Challenger disaster. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Mohamad Rizal bin Buang. For my part is a problem statement. From this case study, we can find four problem statements. There is communication, leadership, behavior of people, and the influence of the media. For communication, it was considered to be an issue since the engineer were not able to convene the management team at NASA and to stop this launch of Space Shuttle. It was very evident that at the initial time, the management at Marshall Space Center content already known the problem, and they were trying to resolve them initially instead of communicating them further. And for leadership, the leadership exhibited by NASA was narcissistic approach. Narcissistic leadership occurs when leader actions are principally motivated by their own egomaniacal needs and belief, superseding the need of interests of the constituent and institution they lead. Whereby for behavior of people within both organizations with respect to the risk management was unplanned, and NASA management had to make the last moment of decision, and much of evidence pertaining to the disaster was dismissed. Whereby for influence of the media play in a major role in decision they were made by NASA. NASA was under tremendous pressure to achieve flight rate and was so pervasive that was undoubtedly effective the attitude towards safety. The scheduling pressure was playing a major role in making NASA biased to launch the shuttle and overseeing the risk. Media 24/7 coverage on NASA, which was putting them under pressure to launch a shuttle on time because they did not want further negative coverage which could harm their public image. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To our respective lecturer and the fellow friends. My name is Faezah Nadiah Binti Sairy, and I will present to you about the SWOT analysis based on the NASA, the Challenger, and also the Columbia Shuttle disasters. Okay, first of all is about the strength. Okay, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or also known as NASA. NASA is a unique organization in terms of size, mission, constraints, and motivations. According to Hall JL, NASA can be defined as greatly path dependent, which means that its decision made by managers and the decision makers heavily rely on the history of the organizations. NASA is a well-known organization which they take care and responsible about the aeronautics and aerospace matters. Okay, so as a huge organizations, they also got a huge operational budget compared to other agencies in United Nations, sorry, United States of America. Okay, so based on its strength, okay, NASA has filled with more than 18,000 experts in the field of aerospace and aeronautics services, which it's supposed to combine and blend all the thoughts, skills, and expertise regarding the shuttle and aerospace to avoid another shuttle tragedy in the future. Okay, the second is about the weaknesses. Okay, in these weaknesses, we can see that the role of hierarchy. Role of hierarchy shows in these two tragedies which the upper management not taken seriously when the low level of engineers at Chokol were concerned about the O-rings which they expressed to the upper management. The management decide to pump liquid fuel rather than postpone the launching because they thought that the O-rings are not the important parts to be concerned. Okay, then the senior engineers also critiques the engineers' performance based on the concern which led to the recommend launched by majority of them while the minorities did not agree to launch that on that time. Okay, so this resistance to change, actually resistance to change is a real and common issue in an organizations because most of us believe that the timing to change something is wrong. Okay, especially in this case which the team is running out time to launch the shuttle according to the time plan. So they resist to postpone the launching uh, because they don't want to wait for the next April to launch the shuttle space. Okay, the third is about the opportunities. Okay, in these tragedies, the low level of engineer has reported the technical problem to the upper management. Okay, so the opportunities is to flatten hierarchy because it is an opportunity had by NASA to avoid the organizational failure again after the two incidents of space shuttle. So according to Hall JL, there needs to be a mechanism for engineers to be able to bypass the bureaucracy and hierarchy, especially in the pre-launch process to avoid another tragedy in the future. Okay, so through this opportunity, the engineers may have data as they request without formal bureaucratic procedures to focus on getting the data. And NASA also may use this change path as external fit to decide organizational structure. Then the engineers have many intuitions and hunches that take time and resources to translate into analysis and data. These intuitions need to be respected, given credence, explored, and welcomed by the upper management. So the last analysis is about the communication skills. Okay. communication skills can be a trait to the NASA in the future because it is the organizational failure. Most common of organizational failure, and NASA need to restructure its organization to improve the communication skills. Okay, in this case, the low levels of engineers are not capable to convince the upper management during the presentation of effect cold weather on the O-rings, which in CAIB reports that NASA did not receive a copy of PowerPoint slides instead of the technical papers used by the engineers. Okay, the engineers need to gain the senior management attention to change initiate from the below as a key communication skill. In any organization, the communication skill is killer point that will reduce the motivation and the performance of the organization.
NASA hierarchical structure should take a remedial step so that a faster and expeditious action in addressing core and non-core issues that occur within the NASA organizations. NASA top management is afraid to make decisions that will be detrimental to their careers because these implementations program may have been funded. Close collaborations between NASA and its contractors in producing a quick response as well as deeper research and understanding to prevent such disaster. Effective communications between the two parties must go hand in hand and agree. NASA's positions in developing as well as a promoter in space research is well known in the eyes of the world. Change in management also needs to be strengthened in creating lasting and sustainable change and innovations. A consistent process needs to be developed to solidify a change. Stakeholders also need to know and be clear with decisions made for the common good. And organizations has usually introduced a new change that is considered successful at first, but it is not lasting.
Assalamualaikum to Sir Muhammad Faiz and to all my classmates. My name is Zulaika Binti Zulkiflee. I will present about the next recommendation. The other recommendation is imperative safety measures. This is important to protect the employees and employers for their own benefits. From the disaster, the board found that NASA did not give NATO the independent status and argued by CAIB regarding on the safety integrity. In Malaysia, government have applied Malaysian Occupational Safety and Health Master Plan 2021 in order to developing the safe working environment so that any harmful situation can be avoided. The last but not least of recommendation is open communication. NASA was criticized by the board for not taking the steps to ensure the minority and dissenting voices. From this, NASA did not communicate with the employees and create the huge barriers between the employees and employers. They should take example in Maybank, where Maybank made the open communication and treat employees same as customers. From this, if NASA make the open communication with the crew, they might be able to provide important information before the disaster occurred. So that's all for my part. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.
Hi, my name is Musliza Asmawati, Binti Mohamad Rosli. In this case study, it can be concluded that the major problem is the communication breakdown for convince the management team at NASA to stop the launch of the space shuttle. Besides, failure in NASA leadership to managing the order to mitigate any chance of an error occurring that would lead to the tragedies. Many scholars and scientists have come up with the theories to answer this fundamental question, but the most important is the behavior. Behavior of the entire team should be interpreted as a teamwork. In other situations, the role of media also was important towards safety. Refer to the Noria 1997. The hierarchy structure within NASA is flattened so as to enable faster response time in the dealing of issues both core and non-core to the organization is the one of the solution. In this situation, it looks like the manager were not making any decision that would be detrimental to their job position, and hence there need to be a new structure where bureaucracy could be bypassed. The change in the management are need to create sustainable change and innovation to make the better solution beside action. A consistent process need to be developed to solidify a change. There was also need for closer collaboration between contractors and NASA officials, and the interface between them should be reached in order for better understanding so as to avoid cases such as the Challenger disaster. Therefore, it can be assumed that the organizational failure exhibited by two crashes were avoidable as NASA is in a position to efficiently develop, discover, and encourage research and development relevant to the safety of their space vehicles. That's all from us for this topic, and thank you.